It's a New York Knicks team that is playing certainly their best basketball of the year and possibly, Danny, in what, the past 27 years?
Yeah, about 27 years.
We have a 2-hour show to get you set for Game 4. NBA Today starts right now.
A game can't be called a must-win situation unless a team's facing elimination. It's not a must-win situation for the Cavs, but it's pretty darn close.
What a shot from Jalen Brunson. Oh, what a pass from Anunoby. And the Cavs just stopped playing on that possession.
The Knicks are now 1 win away from their first finals appearance in 27 years.
I think we're going to have one of those magical gems from the big fella.
Wembanyama, think he's going to go from midcourt.
Nothing but the bottom.
The line. Castle. The Spurs are alive tonight. Castle leaving for Wembanyama. Resounding response to San Antonio in Game 4. Best of 7, now a best of 3.
Well, the San Antonio Spurs, they certainly roared back last night. Hello, welcome to NBA Today for this Cleveland show. We have some gentlemen with Cleveland roots. Iman Shumpert, he won that title in 2016 with these Cavaliers.
DT,
yes, drafted by Cleveland. And, of course, Ohio native Brian Windhorst here. I'm Malika Andrews. I don't have any roots with Cleveland, but by judging by the fans behind us here, it seems like it's the New York Knicks that are in the building here early, my friends.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to take over the city, too.
Yeah, the energy, you can certainly feel it here ahead of Game 4 as the New York Knicks are trying to do something that they have not done since 1999. Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, they spoke earlier at Shoot-Around. Let's take a listen.
I don't really feel like we're that close because, this series is over. If we're blessed enough to move on, then I can answer that question. But if we start thinking of that now, then we start overlooking them, and they're a team that can get hot, that can play well, and turn this into a long series. So don't really got time to think of that until, you're fortunate enough to be in that position.
I've talked to you before about we can't just meet the moment, we got to exceed it. And in those moments when we've had those closeout games, we've exceeded the moment. So, it's up to us again to go out there and exceed the moment again.
I don't know, Brian, as we were walking out the other day, it certainly feels like the Knicks, they're doing everything they can to temper expectations. They're proud of what they've done, but at the same time, they feel like they haven't done anything yet. Danny, you've been in this position 4 times. You've gone to the NBA Finals 4 different times. Take us inside what the Knicks are feeling in this moment.
I got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff and Mike Brown, keeping them in that mind space. I know Kat had an interview after quarter 1 of Game 3. He said, I'm more pissed off that they got 27 points than we have 39. And, that's the mindset you have to have. Josh Hart, just, kind of living in the moment and not thinking about what's ahead. It's we got to close the series. When we close the series, then I can think more about it. With them being that focused, it's like that Kobe mentality. Yeah, back in the days when locked in, Pop had us locked in. We didn't think about the stage or what was happening or finals. Taking it 1 game at a time, not satisfied, job's not done. That's how they're approaching the game. That's how they got to stay focused and locked in.
Yeah, I like their mindset. I like where they're at. When you're going into a closeout game, usually you want to just get things out the way. But when I look at this, I'm just like, can we get a game? Can we get a little competition going? Can we go back and forth? Can I enjoy New York and Cleveland for a little bit? Because I also want the Knicks or whoever comes out of this battle.
Johnny Bravo.
I want whoever that comes out of this battle to be prepared. You don't want them to just be at home chilling and haven't really had any adversity in an Eastern Conference Finals. I just look at what they're doing over there in the West, and I say for the best matchup for basketball, I just want them to all be, well chiseled.
Well chiseled. Well, despite you wearing all black, the Cavaliers are not done yet here, Shump. They're not done yet. They're on the mat, but they're not quite done yet.
Yeah. We hope not.
We definitely hope not. I'm a guy that's been on the wrong side of a bad record, and it meant nothing. So I understand they can come together. I understand what they can do with their locker room. I just, I expect more. I really do. I have been on their case, but it's because they have a good ball club. They just haven't performed up to standard.
And I don't think that they believe that they have either, analytically.
We're
not doing that yet. Let's go over to the Western Conference here before.
Custer here with you. The Knicks are just 1 win away from their first trip to the NBA Finals since 1999. And could that win come tonight? New York, Cleveland, Game 4. Knicks have won each of the first 3 games in this series by double figures. They got a chance to sweep their 2nd straight series and really bank some rest before the NBA Finals. And covering the Knicks is our Vinny Goodwill. Joins me now live from Cleveland. Okay, Vinny, Knicks have not lost since really Game 3 of the first round against the Hawks. That was back on April 23rd. So I'm going to assume they're not looking beyond Game 4 tonight and basically a sweep.
BC, you're exactly right. Karl Towns said the closeout game is the most difficult game to win, but the numbers say the Knicks haven't had issues with that. We're in that Atlanta series, Game 6, they won by 59 points. In Game 4 against Philadelphia, they won by 30. Both of those closeout games were on the road, so they are familiar with being in hostile territory. I asked Josh Hart about that this morning, about this team developing championship habits, and he said, you know what, even when things were tough through the regular season, we felt like things were different, and now it feels like we've experienced a snowball effect, and it seems to culminate with Game 4 tonight in Cleveland.
You know, going into this season, Vinny, it was really finals or bust for the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau was fired. They hired Mike Brown, where some people were like, why Mike Brown? But, you know, you look at what they have done, how much credit, I guess, does Mike Brown get for now being just one win away from the NBA Finals?
You got to give him a lot of credit. He's not going to accept it, and he's not going to self-promote himself. But when this team had reached a crisis point, Game 4 in Atlanta, that's when he changed across his whole offense. He showed the ability to adapt in a critical playoff series, and that started the run that this Knicks team is on. He said basically from his experience at Golden State when he took over for Steve Kerr in 2017, he said great players make a great coach, but it is more than that. He said both of those teams have had competitive spirit. They sacrifice, they stick together through tough times, and they hold each other accountable. And here's another critical note. The New York Knicks averaging 9 fewer points defensively than in the regular season. A lot of people thought that with Tom Thibodeau gone, their defense would suffer. In actuality, their defense has gotten better.
That's a great point. By the way, you can catch Game 4, ESPN tonight at 8 Eastern. Vinny Goodwill, thank you, brother. All right, our sports betting analyst now, Aaron Dolan, here to make you some money. Okay, Aaron, give me the plays that you like Game 4, Knicks Cavs tonight.
So I'm looking at the Cavs in the first half, plus 1.5, and this line has been moving in favor of the other team, but that's okay because I do think the Cavs, knowing that they are on the brink of elimination, will come out with their absolute best effort, and that's what I expect from them. They've actually been okay in the first half of games, but it's that second half of games against the Knicks where the Knicks really take off, and knowing that the Knicks have covered in every single game so far in this series, I'd rather isolate this to the first half. I'll take Cleveland plus 1.5. Now, as for a player prop, I'm looking at James Harden to go over 4.5 rebounds. He's hit over this mark in 2 of the 3 games in this series, averaging 5 rebounds per game, but the books have not really adjusted this rebounds prop, so it's been sitting at 4.5 for the entire series, and there's no reason for me to think he won't be aggressive in this, so I'm going to take him over 4.5 rebounds. Then on the other side of the ball, I'm looking at Karl Anthony Towns to go over 17.5 rebounds and assists. This has come up from 16.5 this morning, but overall he's averaging 11 rebounds in this series, and what really stands out to me is the fact that he's averaging 6.1 assists so far in this postseason, which is double what we saw for him during the regular season. So while this number might feel high at 17.5, I do think taking him for rebounds and assists is the best way to play him.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, Knicks look like a totally different team when they run things through the Cats, so those assist numbers may be shooting up. All right, let's talk about the Western Conference Finals. That series now tied up at 2 games apiece. What are you looking at Game 5?
I'm looking at Alex Caruso to go over 1.5 made threes. Now, of course, last game, it was terrible. The team overall shot bad from 3, 18%. It's not going to happen again. But if you look at Alex Caruso, yes, he went 0 for 0 from 3. But in the prior 3 games, the guy went 14 for 23. So I really do think, although San Antonio was really good at limiting those threes, I just think overall some of these players will bounce back, and Alex Caruso is one of those. So I take him over 1.5 made threes. And just as a little bonus play here, take a look at OKC's team total at 109.5. They're 10-2 to hitting over that, and I do think that'll move by tomorrow. So take a look at that over there as well.
All right, rolling with Aaron Dolan. Thank you, ED. All right, we saw 3 walk-off homers on Sunday. Let's start with